I will second that motion, and let's have a vote.
Aye.
Aye, and
Frank Marcagiano.
is here. And our first item tonight is a public hearing for 51 Oyster Point Road upgrade with our local regulations to make changes. And present is
Dan Johnson of Domestic Septic Design. I was hired by the owners to upgrade their failed septic system at 51 Oyster Point Road. If you recall, about a couple months ago, we were here initially to figure out what we're going to do. I proposed some modifications to a new septic system because of the constraints of the existing wells on the abutters properties, along with the existing salt marsh, a very small piece of land with an existing well smack dab in the middle of it. And what I proposed is that we design a new fancy septic system that treats the effluent, not only with the regular pre-treatment to get rid of the phosphorus, nitrogen, and biological oxygen demand, but also we're going to put in an ultraviolet light that will get rid of all the bacteria and pathogens that will be eventually pumped into a pressure distribution system. With that said, the system was finally designed in which now we have a bunch of local upgrade variances, meaning offsets to the property line for septic system components, to the existing salt marsh and wells. And as a result of that, we have basically a myriad of variances of local upgrade approval, which I'm going to list off. They're physically right here on the plan, but I can't read upside down.
it's in your packet.
Yeah,
Right.
that one.
So basically you have these reductions to reduce the leaching area to the septic, leaching area to the property line. I'm just going to read them right here. They also the proposed septic tank to the foundation from 10 feet to 3 feet. The proposed variance to reduce the offset from the proposed pump chamber to the house foundation from 10 feet to 9 feet. Request the variance to reduce the offset of the proposed microfast tank to the property line from 10 feet to 5 feet. Request the variance to reduce the offset from the proposed leaching area to the salt marsh from 50 feet to 21 feet. Request variance to reduce the offset from the proposed leaching area to the existing well servicing the site from 100 feet to 19 feet. Request variance to reduce the offset from the proposed leaching area to the house foundation from 20 feet to 14 feet. And lastly, request a variance to reduce the offset from the estimated seasonal high top water table to the inverts of the pipes of the pump chamber to be within 12 inches of the pipes themselves. And as we established last time, because of the alternative system, we request the built-in allowances that the DEP does for groundwater offset to be reduced from 4 feet to 2 feet, and also in the restriction to depth of the size of the leaching area to be reduced by 50%, and the depth of pervious material, if you can't have 48 inches, you have to have at least 24 inches minimum, and that we're requesting from 48 to 24 inches in the minimum part to accommodate the microfast septic system of the pressure distribution leaching area. It's a lot to take in, but we've been through most of them initially, and now we're just here to kind of dot the i's and cross the t's with the legal submittal of the Form 9As, the variance letters, and then obviously the public hearing to allow these variances.
Yeah.
So not to interrupt, but what you're proposing is within the state Title V permitting, or it's left up to the local?
99% of it is all state Title V local upgrade approval. There was one variance which we discussed in great detail, and I've discussed subsequently in great detail, that with alternative systems, they don't like you to necessarily take the groundwater reduction if you're within the 50-foot obligatory salt marsh wetland. These regulations were written well before all this new technology kicked in, so the boards of health, including yours, have decided, well, there's nothing else we can do other than put a tight tank, and that's not a solution of anything. So they've been waiving those what we call the standard guidelines for septic systems, for alternative septic systems, certain requirements in there, and that happened to be one of them, in which I wrote down in detail in the variance letter, and we went over with the Board of Health on the side and in front of you guys the last time.
And if you would just describe the MicroFast.
The MicroFast is basically a passive pretreatment system that takes the septic effluent and brings the biological oxygen demand, the BOD level from 40 milligrams as average down to less than 5 milligrams per liter, and then also takes the same down to 5 to 10%, 5 to 10 parts per million. I'm not exactly if it's 5 or 10 of total phosphorus and total nitrogen. And as a result of that, the DEP, along with all the other systems out there, the Waterloo, the Singulair, recirculating sand filters, all those, as long as they can do that, then the DEP has allowed these type of technologies to be used, because they're basically pre-treating the effluent, and other than sanitizing it, it's basically a secondary treatment plant. And because of that, then they allow the reduction, 50% of the size of the physical leaching area, offset to groundwater to be reduced by 2 feet because of all that. We're going actually one step farther in putting in ultraviolet disinfection unit, which will now take out the pathogens and the bad bacteria that are in the effluent.
So, can I ask another question?
Sure.
What about the maintenance?
Well, we built that in. One of the things in the operation maintenance agreement, which every alternative septic system has, basically every year the state passes it on to the local boards of health that we have to maintain them. That's pretty common for the MicroFast, the Waterloo, the Bio, all those. Once a year they come out, and what they do is they take the water sample, just like they will here, and verify that these target goals are being obtained. We're going actually one step more, because we're putting in the ultraviolet disinfection unit, and we're going to look at that once a year. And my experience, even though the board, correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't had too much experience with the ultraviolet disinfection, they work great, but the lamps kind of die every once or twice, every 1 or 2 years. So we're putting in the operation and maintenance that not only does that have to be inspected yearly, but by default we're just going to replace the bulb every year, regardless. And so they don't have a long shelf life anyways from my research on background on that. So we're just going to preempt it and be proactive and say, okay, as the person's going around monitoring the FAST system, they're going to monitor the ultraviolet, and they're just going to take out the lamp and put a new one at whatever the cost is for that. That I don't know, but that will be added onto just the average maintenance cost for these systems.
And if we accept your application, that will be part of the contract.
That is correct. That's part of the operation maintenance contract, which is pretty standard for all these alternative systems. We're just adding that extra disinfection unit in, which is not common, but also just to keep it up to speed to make sure it works. Because not only are we in close proximity to our well, we're out of the 100-foot buffer, but if there's ever anything, and we're so close to the salt marsh, it's just added level of protection, mainly for the existing well on the property, because it's so close to the leaching area, which it was obviously for decades and decades beforehand, but now we're at least putting a level of treatment before any effluent could actually ever get into that well. It's a tight one.
Different world.
Yeah.
Any question? Any questions?
I think it's good that we.
But the good news is we have the technology to address these anomalies. Before it's like default tight tank. Well, that doesn't help anyway. And unless you're going to bring sewer out there, which that's never going to happen. So it's at least we have the capability of doing something to remediate.
It's an improvement over what's there now.
A huge improvement over what's there now.
Excuse me, I'd love a glass.
Well, right now the leaching area just floats up and down with the tidal
With the
surge.
time.
It's like when
That's dilution.
Rafi called me and goes, look, Dan, we can do a Tidal 5, but I know it failed. I go, why? Every time I lift the tide, I lift it up, I can see the water come up, and the tide goes down, and it goes down. I go, okay.
Oh, that's
Thank
awful.
you. Thank you.
No, this is such a.
Oh, one other thing that has nothing to do with the septic system, just to remember, we did have an easement here that allows access through this property to this
For the
abandoned
fellow
right
that has
there.
All right.
the
Nothing will
cellar hole,
impede,
that
nothing
won't
will
bother
impede it.
him.
There's no grading change that affects that road. All components that might be on it or near that are gonna be H20, meaning even heavy trucks can drive through over. So I put that into the design, of which I told the homeowner, look, you're gonna have to put a little extra cost into an H20 tank, that can have double axle thing. So if the gentleman ever need to go through here, he can still pass through.
Oh, that's good.
So we kind of were able to address that along with, which is another reason why the board, if I could be that presumptuous, weighed that 2-foot reduction because we're within 50 feet, is because they did not want access to be impeded for this person's ability to get there. Because I did suggest, I could raise that 2 feet within 50 feet of Salt Marsh, and they agreed for obvious reason, because it would possibly impede access and egress to there.
And they're not here tonight to
I don't
say
see
anything.
anyone who's worried
We've
about it.
addressed the one gentleman many times at the Conservation Commission, and I think he's came in a couple times, Frank,
Yes.
or at least once. And I've talked to him
Right.
at the
There's
meetings.
no
on
one
that.
here, we have cards, but no one's here.
No, and
No, it was only his concern, and his concern mainly was the access and egress more than
Sure.
anything else. And I addressed that actually at our impromptu meeting, but more specifically during the
Yeah.
Conservation Commission when I was there for that one.
Good. So I guess everyone's happy on that count.
Right.
That's good.
Do you have any concerns?
no, last time Dan was here, we talked about the concept, see how you even like that, and then he proceeded to do a formal plan, and that's pretty much where we are right now.
Mhm.
Nothing much has changed since last time.
Nope.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, shall I ask for a motion to approve this, subject to some of these conditions that we'd like? How does that sound to you?
If you,
Sure.
yeah.
You're leading me on this one.
Okay,
Know more
sure.
about
Yeah,
this.
well, the first two are the motions that Dan's-
Are included.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that he's gonna need. So we sort of broke them up from local upgrade approvals and
Yep,
an alternative design. So you can do them, if you agree, do them together, or you can separate them. And then the third section was recommendations that we had
well, for the
It's
maintenance.
for the
important.
maintenance.
Yeah.
So should I be reading these into the record?
You should, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you want me to read
All
them or you can? It doesn't matter.
Well, anyway, so I make a motion to accept the application subject to the following,
Contingencies.
yeah.
Yes.
And you second that?
Yes, I
Okay.
second that.
So I will read these contingencies. Motion to approve all the requested alternative design allowances, including reduction of the leach area size, reduction of the bottom of the leach area to the estimated season high water table down to 2 feet, reduction of the depth of impervious soil below the bottom of the first 10 feet of the leach area down to 2 feet, all allowable within the use of the microfast treatment system, approved from DEP. Number 2, motion to approve the local upgrade approval variances, including reduce the offset from the microfast tank to the foundation down to 3 feet and to the property line down to 5 feet, reduce the offset from the pump chamber to the foundation down to 9 feet, reduce the offset from the leach area to the salt marsh down to 21 feet, reduce the offset offset from the leach area to the existing well servicing the property down to 19 feet, reduce the offset from the leaching area to the foundation down to 14 feet, reduce the offset to the estimated seasonal high water table to the inverts of the pump chamber type pipes to be within 12 inches. Number 3, motion to require the following operation and maintenance above what the state requires for the proposed microfast system, including the well will be tested for basic water quality annually. If sodium exceeds EPA recommendation of 250 ppm, an infiltration system will be installed. Excessive salt will potentially impact the treatment of the septic. Annual maintenance of the ultraviolet disinfection unit, including at a minimum changing the bulb, UV bulb. The electrical work is to be watertight and well insulated to prevent shorting out.
Similar to what we.
That's everything
That's
we've
standard,
spoken-
they're
yeah.
all, when I brought these up, we do them at Cape Cod, and they're all in
Yeah,
the water, so they're all well hermetically sealed.
so you're
Mhm.
pretty much, that's pretty much in agreement with what.
That's pretty much
Yeah,
everything
what
we
we
talked about,
planned.
exactly, yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So,
exactly,
to continue with our contingent on what we just agreed to, would you second my motion?
I will
to-
second your motion, all the ones that you read.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
That's
Excellent.
Don't speed on your way to Cape Cod.
I never do,
good. Oh,
no. Mid-60s the whole way down. There's a bunch of crazies out there. Take care, thank you.
no. See you later,
Good
thanks.
night.
Bye now.
Okey-doke, let's see, what's next? All right, so, to review the management practice plan for mosquito control and the an integrated pest management plan.
Yep. Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, as you know, every year we get the two plans. The 2019, I didn't give you a copy of the vector management plan, 'cause it's almost 40 pages.
Yeah.
And you can review it, you know, in your time. This, as you know, is the regional plan for all the cities and towns in the district. It gets into a lot of detail about the traps, the species, the mosquitoes, the viruses and things. So, unless you wanted to go through it.
No,
right?
we don't.
I thought we would
think
focus
do.
more on some of the highlights of
Yeah,
our management plan for
Good idea,
specifically for
and
Raleigh.
speak up for the audience.
Okay, so, as you can see, you have a copy of the, this year's best management practice plan for Raleigh specifically. Page 1, you'll see our assessment for Raleigh for FY20, which included a 1.5% increase, which was approved by the Board of Selectmen. So we're still, you know, in the program. On any questions on?
No,
Okay.
keep moving ahead.
Okay. On page 2, you'll see the district control measures specific to Raleigh, and we don't have to hit all of them, but just in general here, there's the general operations cost sharing for the whole region, the regional adult mosquito surveillance program, the regional aerial salt marsh larviciding program, and as you know, that's the largest cost of what we pay for the helicopter.
For the helicopters, yeah.
That's the biggest percentage.
And the price of that isn't broken out,
Not on here, no.
right?
No.
Okay.
But again, that's the biggest piece of it. The regional vector virus interventions, which is again that other plan that you have here. Surveillance, ground larviciding, catch basin treatments. The catch basin treatments is coordinated with the highway department every year. When they try to coordinate when they clean out the catch basins. So that'll happen usually in June sometime, and they usually finish in 1 to 2 days at the most. And you can
And what do they put drops of some kind of insecticide in there, the
Larvicide.
BTI?
Yes, the larvicide, yep.
Yep.
And it's usually good for the entire season, but if they notice that it's not working, they'll do another treatment during the season.
The great thing is, it's not a chemical, it's
Right.
No, it's natural
bacteria.
bacteria.
It's natural.
Right.
Yeah.
In the middle there, you'll see specific to Raleigh adulticide, which is by Board of Health approval only, unless you wanted to change that. And also barrier treatment, which is by Board of Health request only. And in the past, the board has always followed what's recommended by mosquito control during the monitoring, so unless you want something changed there. Okay.
No, but I think to be clear, the Board of Health will authorize
Mhm.
barrier treatment under the recommendation, or if the school department requests us to do that.
Right, exactly. And then some other smaller items, but also the tire recycling program. We've been working with Mosquito Control for the last few years at our hazardous waste day to help collect tires, which has been working out really well.
When people do have tires that they're using to hold down tarps and stuff,
Yeah,
do they understand that they need to treat those things?
we try to get that word out, yes.
Difficult.
It's difficult, yeah. But they do hold waters, you know, and a lot of the mosquitoes that breed on the tires, you know,
They're
carry
the
West
bad
Nile,
ones,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So we try to,
They could like drill holes in them or something.
You could, yeah.
Let the water out.
could,
I don't know.
or use something else other than tires too.
Oh, when we were kids, we used to love to find tires full of water and we'd check out all the bugs in them.
Let's see something, page 2. Page 3 is a little bit of a summary from 2018. You can see they completed the catch basin larviciding treatments in June of 2018. They treated 602 basins in Raleigh. And they also, a note here that they assisted us in our hazardous waste day and collected 46 tires, which is good. You'll see some percentages of how the 2 traps that are in the historic places have worked. The CO2 light traps and the gravity traps, one each. Those are, again, in historic, same spot every year. Then they have other traps that they move around town and monitor, but they have to have 2 in historic locations to monitor.
That doesn't mean the historic district.
No. No, just the same locations. And that's pretty much on that page. On page 4,
If we do though, look at that total mosquito collected in Raleigh at these traps, the numbers are
changed a lot, yeah.
unbelievably
Yeah.
changed.
Mhm.
So between 2017 and 2018, it's up 680%.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep this, studying this.
Yeah, and they also, you know, they're monitoring for virus, but they're also monitoring for the types of species that are out there. If they notice that there's a certain species that is known to carry virus, they will, if they see the numbers really start to rise, they may proactively suggest doing some treatment to prevent
Oh,
those
yeah.
species from getting completely
Well, that's
out of
when they
control.
recommend to us to change what our usual plan is
Exactly,
to something more site-specific
right.
because of the vector.
Yeah, and it's happened a couple times over the years, not often, but again, they will come up with that recommendation, even though they haven't found a virus, but just, again, to be proactive
Yep.
and to keep it from happening.
Oh, it says here they changed the location of the trap in 2018,
They did,
so they got more.
they did, yep. It was, yeah, it was moved a little bit closer to the salt marsh area. That's why it was, the
Yeah.
numbers have gone up so
Yeah.
much. Again, they're following virus, so that was their suggestion, so
Yep.
we went along with it. On page, unless any other questions. On page 4, you'll see that there were 20 mosquito pools submitted to the Mass Department of Public Health Lab for testing last year. Fortunately, there were no West Nile virus or Triple E positives in Raleigh last year. The risk level last year was remote for Triple E and moderate for West Nile virus. West Nile virus is in the area, it'll always be here. So we'll probably always be under that moderate risk. And you can see some history there of mosquito infections in Raleigh over the years. 2005, 2011, 2013 and 14, we found West Nile. And in 2012, we found Triple E. Going forward for 2019, you know, again, we work with the schools to get their pest management control plans completed. You'll see the regional control measures that we do, the regional surveillance program, you know, the trapping. You know, again, so a lot of this is repetitive, but this gets into more of the district, what they're doing in the district. Virus testing for 2019. There's 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 will go from June 15th to August 1st. Then phase 2 will go from August 1st to October 1st, or October 15th if the Department of Public Health feels that there's still a threat. They'll extend that season of testing for another 15 days. Again, I'm just trying to give you some of the highlights without going into all the details. Yeah, and again, this is all things we basically said. Last year, the aerial larviciding, there were 2 treatments last year, which is less than normal, usual.
Yeah.
But again, they monitor it and they only do it when they feel it's necessary. I think one time last year they were going to, but the weather didn't allow them, so they didn't end up doing it. But and then moving to the section on control measures specific to Raleigh. Again, our focus is always on larviciding, which includes the ground larviciding, the aerial salt marsh larviciding, the catch basins, which we talked about. Adulticiding when necessary. And when that's done, as you know, it's usually a targeted application, it's not a town-wide thing. They try to focus on where the virus is in the town and focus on that area, and it's been working well in the past. And they also work as a region, so in other words, they may have a trap right over the line in the next town over, so it benefits both towns, and they coordinate targeted applications that way as well in both towns. And again, about virus intervention, coordinate through the Board of Health, that hasn't changed. Tire recycling program, which we talked about, battery treatments. It just gets into a lot of detail, which that's pretty much about it. I mean, for the highlights anyway. Unless you have any specific changes that you...
It's worked, we have a good relationship with them.
Yep, they were here last year, they gave a nice presentation. We don't have them come in every year, but every couple of years or so we have them come in and give us any updates on...
And they're very responsive when we have questions.
Oh yeah,
And
within a day we get
we're
an
happy
answer.
with the program.
Yep, they tell us exactly what's happening. If they even have a feeling that something is going on, they let us know right away and ask us what we want to do.
Do we get a lot of complaint calls in the summer from our
It
office?
varies, depends.
And they'll respond to that if they get a few in one area?
Yeah, it's not as much as in the past. Because they've done so much work on larviciding, it has brought down a lot of the complaints, but
I think so.
it's a very wet town, as you know, so unfortunately.
Yep, brush and brook water.
Yeah, and plus with the salt marsh. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's summers are a little tough sometimes with mosquitoes, but
Okay.
All right, thank you, Frank.
pretty much that.
We can move right into our general business section. Annual town meeting articles,
Yeah, we have our same
same.
two standard articles.
202.
One is, of course, paying the state back for the money we borrowed for the septic loan program.
Yeah.
This year's total again is $63,439. Breaking that down, $25,939 is for the first $500,000 that we borrowed, which will be paid in July of this year. And then the second half, the $37,500, was from the second borrowing of the $750,000, and that'll be paid in January of 2020. But we appropriate that money, and it's paid in pieces, two times.
Yep.
And then we have our revolving fund, which has been the same
Right, the same.
historically, yeah.
Yep.
Which Nothing's changed there.
I will be, I have to do a presentation, that was previously scheduled that night, so I won't get to town meeting till 8:30 or so.
I'll be there.
9, but you'll be there.
I'll be there.
So if you'd save me a seat,
Sure.
and you can,
Would you like to read the motion?
Yeah, she
Or
can.
or would you rather have a
Either
selectman?
one of us.
do it,
Either one.
or-
We'll be there
One of
as a
us will be
team.
there, we'll
Okay.
take care of it.
Okay.
okay, so what's next?
So next
Oh,
is the, yep,
Septic loan?
Yep, quarterly report. This is for the report ending March 31st, 2019. The balance from last quarter, $341,571.03. No more borrowing or drawdowns, which we won't have anymore. That quarter, we worked on 2 loans, and you can see on page 2 on the back, just a couple bills there, which totaled $6,970.85. There were no administrative costs this quarter, which left us with an ending balance of $334,618. This quarter has been extremely busy. We have currently right now 5 active loans and another one that we're gonna probably sign next week. Just a lot of activities this time of year. So far, we processed a total of 98 loans, soon to be 99 next week. So, a lot of loans in the 20 years.
Good.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and there's 50 still active right now, and 48 that we've paid back in full, or the homeowners paid back in full.
Yeah.
Good. Next up is White Goods Day.
Which is this Saturday, April 27th, from 8:30 to 11:30 at the Highway Department. Nothing has changed since last year. Basically taken the same type of things, and
Do we have signs up?
we do. Yep, it's advertising. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's on the website. It's on cable.
Do we have
We put
things at Market Basket?
We
Yeah,
do,
there's
yep.
one at Market
Yeah, on the
Basket.
post office.
I put one
Yeah.
up there.
Yep, they're around town. It was in the electric bill this month
Yeah.
as a reminder also.
It was in the senior citizen.
Yep, in the senior newsletter, yeah. Yeah, we have the same
Journal.
list we go through every year for
Yeah.
advertising. And
Yeah.
we try to hit as many places as we can. But, yeah, again, same as last year. Hopefully everything will go smooth.
Good. All right, so then we jump to the office. We have some bills to,
We do.
Bill.
I've already signed.
Oh, actually,
you have
yeah,
signed that
it's
one.
just a new one, Susan. Start with that.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
I wish my electric bill was $8.29.
So we all. Yeah, these are mostly septic loans.
$8.29. It's a good lunch. Okay, I signed this one. You need to sign that.
Yeah. Next, we have some minutes from,
Yep. Previous meeting, yeah.
so we have minutes from the meeting of February 4th. And have you reviewed them,
I reviewed them.
Susan?
Yeah, these have been out for a while, we just didn't approve them last time.
Yeah.
And Susan and I were here. Okay, can I have a motion to
Yes.
approve the minutes of the February 4th meeting?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 4th, 2019 meeting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's see here. Next time we should meet, we have a town meeting coming up, so we meet sometime in mid to end of May.
I think so, yeah.
Do you want to set a date?
Yeah, we can see if things come in.
Well, let's
Okay,
maybe set a, we haven't got May up there, but
Here, I'll hold. Let's look.
let's see, today, how about,
We've got three choices,
The
6, 13, or 20.
yeah, what about the 20th? It'd be about a month. What kind of work is,
Yeah, well, you know, as you know, we kind of seeing what comes in. Yeah, we can tentatively, you know, we can see what applications come in.
let's-
Sure.
let's set that one.
Okay. And then we can take a look at what's in and adjust from there if we need to. Okay. Sometimes we have, you know, we know something's coming up, but the engineer hasn't submitted something, so
Yeah,
we're
we've got
waiting.
another one
Yeah,
across the railroad tracks.
exactly.
on-
Yeah,
we
that's
have
kind of the one that we're
It's like
not
today,
sure when it's
yeah.
gonna come in.
Yeah,
So I would say when we hear on that, we could have more of an idea.
okay.
All right.
We can tentatively though for.
Yeah, I'll like to plan around the 20th, but whatever comes
Yeah,
up.
see what comes in.
I'm gonna be away a little bit, but
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll work on your schedule and,
Oh, but our schedule.
oh, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, let's see. What about concerns of the board? Have you got any concerns?
Just
No,
the
some-
puddles on our street. What are those things that are in those clay puddles?
Oh, I don't know.
Are they to dry it up?
I don't know.
It's gonna be a mosquito-y place.
Yeah, they don't drain well. We're talking about the detention basins of the new development on Bennett Hill.
Right.
They hold water very well. And mosquitoes, I haven't seen a mosquito yet, but
We've had some, I've had some.
have you had a
in my house.
mosquito? I've only had black flies, but
And that's-
anyway.
And that's a good segue where, you know, we'll let mosquito control know and they will put some larvicide in
Yeah.
there. But it's, I don't
But
know if
it's
they're designed
unfortunate,
to hold that
it's
much
more of a
water.
design
Yeah, exactly.
flaw
Right.
than, we shouldn't be spending
Right,
our mosquito control money for private
right,
development.
right.
But, any other concerns?
No, that's,
It's an update on the Briar Barn.
No
restaurant.
complaints about Frank lately?
no.
We're very pleased, and the Briar development is,
Yeah, moving along. The hotel's opened up for a while. The restaurant just opened up about a week or so ago, so
Looks lovely. They
Yeah,
got
it's going
flower
on.
pots out there.
it's coming along.
Good.
what about you, Frank? Do you have any things?
Oh, No, just been a lot of septics going
How
on.
are
around
the,
town.
how are the perk test applications?
A lot. We have a lot. We had 5 or 6 new ones anyway in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
A lot of repairs. A lot of repairs. A lot of people are selling, so they're doing Type 5s, and unfortunately, a lot of them are failing. So, not a lot of them, but they're 30, 40 years
Sure.
old. So, been pretty busy.
And since the
Something.
tax hike went, I think I saw a lot more sales, for sale signs go up.
Yeah, I don't know the reason, but yeah, it could
Seen
be.
a lot,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of repairs. I said a lot of new stuff happening. The project next to the
Girl Scout.
Girl Scout camp, the former camp, is still going through planning board. That's 40 plus units, houses.
Wow.
Wow.
Actually, that's one of the reasons our revolving fund had more money than usual. That was a lot of it was perk testing. So we haven't got the plans yet, so that's gonna help
Oh,
with that as well. But normally our fund isn't as high as it
Right.
normally is,
Yeah,
as it is now, I should say.
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, but perk test has been completed, and now again just waiting for the planning board to finish their thing, and then specific designs would be done for each one.
it's 40 lots.
I believe 40 or 41. I believe
Mm.
was the latest I've heard. Again, they're still in front of the planning boards. Don't honestly know the latest, but that's the last they were talking.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I think that might be it for tonight.
Yeah, all the restaurants are doing well,
Yeah,
clean
yeah.
and nice.
Yeah, we've gone through almost, well, actually more than half of our first round. So yeah,
Great.
it's a lot of work, but we're trying to
I
fit
don't
it
know
all
how
in.
you do it
Yeah,
all, you
it's
folks are busy.
it's been a lot of perk testing, a lot of plan reviews, a lot of things going on. So we're trying to just juggle everything, but do the best we can.
Well, can I have a motion to close tonight's
Yes.
April 25th meeting?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
All
April
those in
12th.
favor? Are you in
Aye, I am very in favor.
Yep.
I'm wicked
Very
in
good.
favor.
Thank you.
Thanks.